What is up, everyone? My name is FMSorcerer, and today I'm going to be talking about a possible 8th school coming to Wiz. But before I get started, I wanted to set 2 goals for the video, and the first one is actually a sub goal. So basically, if we can gain 15 new subscribers from this video, that would be great. So let's try to reach at least 15 new subs. So if you're someone new who's watching the vid for the first time, you've never seen my channel before, and you end up enjoying it, then go ahead and click the subscribe button. Or if you've been watching me for a while and you weren't really sure if you should sub, then go ahead and subscribe. And the next goal is a like goal. So if we can reach 70 likes on this video, then I will definitely have more videos coming soon. I have a 3rd arc series that I'm doing right now, which this video is actually a part of that series. So if you want to see the other 2 vids in the series, which are going to be on new worlds and a possible new dungeon, then definitely let's try to reach at least 70 likes on the vid. Besides that, let's go ahead and get into the actual topic of this video, which, as I said before, is on the possibility of an 8th school coming to Wizard101, and I'm going to be actually showing you guys some possible hints that could allude to the fact that we will be getting one eventually, whether that's in Imperia, which is coming really soon, or, you know, in a world after Imperia, more than likely in future worlds. But you never know. Mixowl does like to surprise us sometimes. But getting into the actual hints, let's go ahead and actually come over here, because a lot of people do not realize that there are some things that could pretty much help you speculate on whether or not there will be an 8th school in Wiz eventually, that are right in the Arcanum, in the repository. And I'm pretty sure most people have seen this NPC right here who's performing magic on this test subject. He makes it turn into a butterfly, and then it turns back into its regular form, and then it repeats the animation over and over again. And I'm pretty sure most people have seen this because they added him, I think a few updates ago, probably like 2 or 3. It was pretty recent. I don't think he was here initially when the Arcanum first came out. So that was actually what made it really interesting, was the fact that KI actually basically went out of their way to add him. Like, he wasn't just a part of the Arcanum originally, they actually added him later on. So that probably gives you an idea that, you know, this is going to mean something. Maybe even if we never talk to him, it's pretty much like an Easter egg. So what type of hints does this animation right here give us about there possibly being an 8th school? Well, for one, we don't actually know what type of magic he's using. You know, some may say that he's using shadow magic, which does make a lot of sense, because if you look at it, it's dark, like, you know, it's just a dark puff of smoke and then it just disappears and that's it. But is it really shadow? Because if you think about the storyline, and there's actual proof in the storyline about the fact that the Arcanum scholars, pretty much all of them, are very strict and pretty much uneasy when it comes to the idea of shadow, and they have a very low trust level for not only our wizards, because we've been touched with shadow so much in the 3rd arc, but also the shadow scholar herself, Velma. She revealed that she doesn't really have that much, they don't have trust for her, you know, they have trust issues, and she pretty much can relate to us. So if this were shadow magic, it would be kind of strange that the scholars would be okay with him just out here practicing it freely. You never know. I mean, it could be, but just going based off of that kind of defeats it for me. And then again, the fact that KI went out of their way to add this afterwards, it wasn't just like an effect or just like a, you know, sort of an animation that was always in the Arcanum. They went out of their way to put him here. So shadow pretty much is eliminated, and then all of the other types of magic doesn't really seem like it would be any of the others. Definitely none of the elemental schools. Any spirit magic, not really, except for death. I don't think death magic would turn this guy into a butterfly. So then, if it's not shadow or death magic, what is it? Now there's actually some clues that can give us an answer to that question. And the first one is this little stand right here, which has the book, this gigantic book sitting in front of them. And you can see that he's clearly looking at it, he's reading it, and then he's looking at his test subject, and then he's testing out whatever this little spell is that he's using on it. Now, what's interesting about this book is that I was able to actually get, like, if you zoom in, anyone can pretty much zoom in and they can go up and get like a good view of it. You can see, you can make out some words, probably around 5 or 10 words you'll be able to actually clearly make out without having to really like start squinting at that point and having a really tough time. Like, it really does make your eyes hurt after a while, but you can make out 5 or 10 words just by doing that alone. So if anyone wants to come to the repository and try themselves, go for it. But I was able to actually get a really good shot of it and zoom in on it. I'll show you all right now on the picture. that you can make out some sentences in this in the passage that he's reading. Now, in the 5th paragraph, you'll see there's a sentence that states, "So be very careful when attempting new spells." And just before that, it says, "Just remember that you are ultimately responsible for every spell you cast, both good and bad." Now, what could make this book possibly important is the fact that, once again, he's looking at it, like he's actually reading it, and then he's casting the magic on the test subject. So those two things would most likely be connected. The book is talking about spells. It's talking about good and bad spells. So the magic that he's practicing would obviously be both dangerous, or it could be used for good. Now, again, we still don't have our question answered. What type of magic could this really be? We still don't really know. Well, there's another hint that I was actually really excited to discover when I did a little more looking. I was like, this still doesn't make much sense. Like, what else could there be? So what I did was I zoomed in, and you can see these books, they're floating up, and you see that second book, that blue one that just went up there? I'm gonna put it up on the screen right now. The name of that book is Alchemy 101. Now, could this just be a coincidence, or could it be that the NPC right here is actually practicing alchemy? So, what exactly is alchemy? Well, alchemy is described as a seemingly magical process of transformation, creation, or combination. Alchemy is a form of magic, and this is obviously Wizard101, where all the schools are schools of magic. So if people are a little confused about why alchemy would be in Wiz, and they would say that alchemy is not magic, it actually is, because it involves, again, transformation, creation, and combination, which are all things that magic can do. So it is, in fact, a type of magic. Now, there are actually a couple of alchemists who are in Wizard101, and a lot of them come from Mirage. So the obvious one would be the Scorpion, Old Cobb's child. He was an alchemist, and we actually ended up fighting him in Mirage halfway through. The other alchemist was Santiago. Now, I don't know if many people remember him, but if you do, it's probably because of that mysterious ending to Mirage, where he pretty much leaves without a trace, and he tells our wizard that he thanks us for helping him, and that gives a lot of people speculation that he could actually be the Bat. One other alchemist is Greta Darkkettle, who used to teach alchemy in Wizard City in Ravenwood, which is really interesting because Greta Darkkettle is now a Cabal agent, and if this has any sort of link or relation to one another, the fact that she is an alchemist and the fact that she's in the Cabal, that could mean that what is behind the Cabal gate is actually some form of alchemy, or maybe magic that has alchemy included in it. It really just depends, and it really does make a lot of this even more interesting. Now, are you guys starting to make a little connection here between all of this information? I know it's a lot to take in, but let's backtrack on what we talked about for the past few minutes pretty much. So, this NPC here, he's practicing random magic. We don't know what it is, but if we go up to the book, it does say stuff about spells and being careful, and it's teaching you how to learn a type of new spell. Now, if he's learning a type of new magic, what magic is it? Well, we look at these books that are floating up, and one of them says Alchemy 101. Could there be a coincidence? Possibly, but I mean, there are so many item decorations in Wiz with other names on the book covers that KingsIsle could have chosen, and of all of them, they choose Alchemy 101 right next to this NPC practicing random magic. Now, what is alchemy? A form of magic that you can use to transform or combine. And are there alchemists in Wiz? Yes, there actually are. The Scorpion, Santiago, who people think might be the Bat, in Imperia, the next world. Now, am I saying necessarily that we're going to get a new type of school which could actually be alchemy in Imperia? No, I'm not necessarily saying that, because even at the beginning of the video, I said, even if we get an 8th school, it might not be an Imperia. Like, you know, Imperia is coming out really soon, and we don't really know, like, if that's going to be the case. Or we could end up getting a new type of school. We really don't know, like, in Imperia itself. But if we did, it would make a lot of sense, because Santiago could be the Bat. Now, we don't know if he is, but if he is, and he's an alchemist, and this goblin is practicing alchemy, then, you know, all of that could be connected. Now, there is a final hint, and that is what type of NPC this is. And he is basically a goblin. It's pretty obvious. Like, I mean, if you look at him, he is a goblin. That's what goblins look like. So, what I did was I went to Wizard101 Central and I looked at all the different types of goblins in the game, and I found out that he is a frost goblin, and the only world that frost goblins come from in the game are from Wintertusk. Now, what's interesting about this is the fact that the only quest that a frost goblin showed up in, or one of the only ones, was a side quest which was related to runes. And runes are a type of symbol that are related to a type of magic in Grizzleheim called rune magic, which was widely used in its history. So could that mean that this goblin is here to further his knowledge of magic or experiment with a new school altogether? I'm not saying that alchemy is the new school. I'm just suggesting that maybe he's practicing alchemy and there will be a new school, but it's not going to be called that. It's going to be combining maybe alchemy and rune magic, or, you know, shadow and alchemy and rune magic. We really don't know. If you think about the storyline and the fact that Santiago might be an alchemist, or we know he's an alchemist, and that the Scorpion is an alchemist, that can mean that the Arcanum scholars are trying to prepare to fight with the same type of magic. We really don't know. We don't know why this magic would be here, why we don't know about it yet. It really varies, but I'm just suggesting that there could be a new school coming. So let me know what you guys think in the comments section down below. And I know there's probably gonna be some people who say, well, what about that gate in the middle of the Arcanum? Yes, there is still that gate in the middle of Arcanum that belongs to the Cabal, and we still have no idea what that is for. That could still be a new school, and I actually made a video about that a year ago suggesting that the new school would be Cantrips, and I still do believe that Cantrips could possibly be the new school. So I will be making a future video on that as well, but just for now I wanted to touch on this actual part of the Arcanum, which could be something entirely different. Like, I think this wouldn't be Cantrips magic. It could be, because Cantrips actually means illusion, and you know, he could be giving the illusion that this test subject is actually turning into a butterfly when he's really not. So let me know what you think in the comments. Like I said, again, let's try to reach the sub goal of gaining 15 new subscribers and reaching 70 likes on this video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.